Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, this is our, we're convening our special business meeting. Board President to advise members of the audience that they may address the board regarding agenda items after the superintendent's report. Only those members whose names and addresses are listed on the sign-in sheet available prior to the start of the meeting will be recognized during new business. The chairperson will limit discussion to any item by the public to 3 minutes in order for the board to expeditiously conduct its business. Superintendent's report, Mr. Dolan.
Given the seriousness of tonight's meeting, I'm going to pass my report over to Neil Block from Ingram & Smith.
Oh, he's going to address that after we do the resolution.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right.
Or did you want to do it now? Do it after? Yeah? Okay. That way you can answer questions. So, just so the public is aware, we have our representatives from Ingram & Smith here to advise us on a matter that we're voting on this evening. So, if there's no public comment on agenda items, the first agenda item we have is the Memorandum of Agreement between the East Islip School District and the United Public Service Employees Union. Whereas the labor agreement between the Board of Education of the East Islip Union Free School District and the United Public Service Employees Union expired on June 30th, 2020. Whereas representatives of the respective parties have engaged in negotiations for a successful agreement to the expired labor agreement, and whereas the representatives of the district and the association reached an agreement that has been memorialized in a memorandum of agreement, which memorandum of agreement has been reviewed by the Board of Education. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the East Islip Union Free School District herewith approves the memorandum of agreement herein above referenced and authorize expenditures of funds necessary to implement said memorandum of agreement, and be it further resolved that the President of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools are hereby authorized to execute the new collective bargaining agreement incorporating the terms of the memorandum of agreement on behalf of the Board of Education. I get a motion.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question, Mrs. President, on this contract here. We're giving them retroactive money, is that correct?
The agreement expired July 1st, 2020, and due to COVID and different scheduling, it was difficult to meet with negotiations. So yes, there will be a retroactive payment to the union.
It's not in their contract.
What?
It's not in their contract.
What do you mean it's not? This is the new memorandum.
I understand that, but the old one, we didn't have to give them retroactive, is what I'm saying.
No, but it expired. So this is the new one to start last July 1st.
I'm totally against giving people money for half days and during the COVID period. Other people are just about getting ready to go to work, and we're dishing out money again. Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 3-1. Resolution authorizing election appeal. Whereas at its meeting held on May 18th, 2021, the Board of Education certified the results of the 2021 annual election and budget vote based on a canvass of votes from the election machine and absentee ballots that were conducted by designated election inspectors. And whereas upon a subsequent routine review of the voter tally sheet prepared by the election inspectors that contained the vote total for candidates and the budget proposal that was reported to the Board of Education when it certified the results of the election, it was discovered that there were 2 tabulation errors in the certified vote results. And whereas there are no other discrepancies between the canvass of votes that were tabulated by the election inspectors and the results certified by the Board of Education, and whereas the Board of Education has been advised by school council that the proper procedure to correct inaccurate election results that have been already certified is the filing of a proceeding with the Commissioner of Education in accordance with Education Law, Section 2037, and whereas to preserve the integrity of the election process, the Board of Education seeks a determination from the Commissioner of Education that annuls the incorrect canvass of votes and directs that such canvass be corrected to reflect the correct number of votes. Now therefore be it resolved that that school council is authorized to file a proceeding with the Commissioner of Education to seek a determination that annuls the incorrect canvass of votes certified by the Board of Education and directs the canvass of votes be corrected accordingly. Got a motion? Discussion, if we could just have an explanation by Mr. Block?
So, yeah, I think the resolution is pretty self-explanatory. Sorry, the resolution is pretty self-explanatory, but the tabulation error, and this was just a mathematical error, occurred in two instances. One pertained to the election involving Ms. Walsh, who ran unopposed for her seat. The vote that was certified by the board showed a vote of 1,405 votes. However, there was one particular election machine on that night that was not tabulated correctly from the tape of the machine. It showed, the calculation showed 0 votes from that machine when actually there were 466 votes that were cast. So with those 466 votes, Ms. Walsh's vote total should be 1,871 and not the 1,405, which was reported to the board and certified. The other error occurred in the race for the seat that is currently held by Ms. Carney. The error occurred with respect to candidate Michael Dorgan. The votes that were tabulated and reported to the Board of Education and subsequently certified revealed 675 votes. However, the vote total, while it was accurate for each machine, when it was totaled up with the absentee votes, actually totaled 915 votes. So Mr. Dorgan has received, based upon that tabulation error, enough votes where Mr. Dorgan would be the candidate who would be elected for that particular seat. As the resolution indicates, the Board of Education does not have the authority to make changes to vote totals that were already certified by the board. That is vested in the Commissioner of Education pursuant to a particular statute of the education law. But it's I would submit our duty to submit this to the Commissioner with the identified errors and ask the Commissioner to correct the tabulation so that the proper votes that were cast by the voters of this community are tabulated correctly, and that the individuals who receive the votes are then duly elected to office.
Thank you, Neil, for that. Are there any questions? This is extremely unfortunate that this occurred, and the board feels that the individuals that made this human error, we just have to thankfully, all the votes will be reassessed, and unfortunately, the outcome, it does affect the outcome. So, with that being said, I apologize to all the candidates that this occurred. This is an undue stressful situation for everyone involved. And I appreciate everyone's work, Neil's work on realizing and investigating this, and especially Mr. Dolan's office for double checking, so that way we got this right. my apology to Mr. Kalinowski, for thinking that he won that election, and, but next steps will be, Neil, if you can explain?
Next steps will be that we will file a petition with the Commissioner of Education identifying where the mistakes occurred. We'll provide documentation. We did have a meeting already with the candidates who were affected prior to this meeting where we reviewed this information with the candidates. We will prepare those papers. They will be delivered to the Commissioner of Education. The candidates who were impacted by this will also be receiving copies of the papers. And then hopefully, the Commissioner will act sooner than later so we can have a full Board of Education in place come July 1st. But we will certainly press upon the Commissioner for an expedient decision on this so we can conduct our business with the full Board of Education. So we will keep the board posted. Again, we are going to be requesting immediate relief, and hopefully that will occur.
Thank you. Any other comment, discussion? Mr. Dolan, since I will not be on the board come July 1st, how is the administration and the new district clerks going to make sure that this doesn't occur in the future?
Mrs. Carney, even before we became aware of this, and we became aware of it because one of our new procedures was one last final check before things are sent out, which had not occurred, previous to this year. We already have a list of new procedures that will take place, and we really want Mr. Block to do a complete investigation to make sure that the new procedures we put in place match any potential problems that he may see or any things that need to be corrected. But you have my word and my solemn promise that that this type of error will not happen again. We will make sure we are, we have backups on top of backups.
Thank you.
But this was a Board of Elections error, not a East Islip School
Look,
District.
you know what, I think we believe we know, and Mr. Block and his associate, Sophia, I apologize. What's your last name, Sophia? Ms. Taranti. I believe that they will do a thorough investigation. In the preliminary investigation, we believe we know where this mistake occurred, and we will put procedures into place so it cannot happen again. And I at this point, we have a lot of hardworking people who come to Election Day and put in a 16-hour day. I'll take full responsibility for the error, and hopefully that you'll be patient and it'll never happen again. But we caught something that in previous years would not have been caught. So I already feel that we are putting 21st century mechanisms into place already. So I'm not here to assign blame. I'm here just to promise everyone that this will not happen again. This was a black eye, but we will recover. Oh, I apologize, Mr. Montori. No.
Tells me that somebody did something that maybe they shouldn't have done. I would want to investigate. Use another word.
How about, we'll use reflection and reflection. Mr. Block and Ms.
It was to make it easy, to eliminate the investigation. So it was reviewed after the discrepancy was brought to light. And when Joanne Walsh's seat was brought to light, then the entire election was reviewed, and, by district council. But the initial tally was completed by the Suffolk Board of Elections, and those employees that counted the ballots and tallied up the machines were Board of Election employees. Just like last year when we had COVID and there were double the amount of votes, and they sat here all day long to hand count all of those mail-in votes. it's, you know, it's an arduous task.
Ms. Carr, I just want, just to clarify that there usually, and I'm not sure of the specifics with respect to our election, but usually there's a combination. There's election inspectors. We appoint the election inspectors. Some of them are on the Board of Elections list.
Yes.
Some are not. They don't have to be. So there probably is, there could be a combination of folks who are Board of Election certified inspectors and those that are not. So that may be, again, I'm not identifying.
But they all get paid by the Board of Elections.
No,
They-
we pay.
We pay them?
We pay. Yeah, we pay. Yeah, they get paid by us.
You know, and Mr. Montori, wait,
Yeah.
So we can put other safeguards in place down here before it goes upstairs.
Yeah, I think that's what, I think Mr. Dolan, in response to Mr. Montori's question about investigation, I think what Mr. Dolan was trying to get at was that we would come in and review your procedures going forward so as to try to minimize the risk of human error occurring.
Wait,
Human error is human error. Sometimes human error occurs even with procedures in place. But there's certainly some tightening of procedures, I suspect, that we can do here that will reduce that chance. Right.
wait, give me a chance to take that back. They're right. The word should have been review, reflect, and during the course of the preliminary investigation, you know, Ms. Trentini and Mr. Block have already given us some good ideas and suggestions of things that we've never done here in East Islip, but we will be doing moving forward. So again, I apologize, but I'm confident that we're going to be better for this. And, you know, I apologize to all the candidates, especially Mr. Kalinowski. This has been, you know, this is one of the toughest days we've had here, but we will be better for it.
So until the commissioner makes a ruling, my seat will be vacant July 1st until they make a ruling on and declare
Most likely.
or adjust it.
Yeah,
Okay.
most likely.
And in the event that he makes it before July 1st, then Mr. Dorgan will be assigned my seat, and
Most-
then they'll be sworn in at the reorg, so.
Most
But
likely.
in the event that he's not, then it'll be 4 board members until my seat is then.
I make a motion to make Jess stay until
No.
it's resolved.
I just want to clarify that. I will not be here after June 30th.
I make a motion.
So, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right. Old business? New business? And public comment? All right, you don't want to make this a short meeting?
I had asked how many employees of the East Islip School District to vote today and tomorrow.
Never had to do this before. You asked for certain categories. In terms of, I broke it down, and today there were 29 people out. That it included paras, teaching assistants, teachers, custodians, grounds, and guards. And tomorrow, as of right now, there are 12 people. Right.
Okay, any other? So the next Board of Education regular business meeting, and hopefully it will be my last, and will be June 10th at 8 p.m. Motion to adjourn?